I'm Big Steezy and welcome to How to Get Sponsored in Scooter Riding from a Brand Owner's Perspective. My name's Aaron Gardner from the Bank Indoor Skate Park, also the co-founder of Gas Grip. And as the owner of an indoor skate park, I've seen many thousands of riders come and go in the scooting over the years. Also, we are one of the biggest scooter shops in Australia, so I've also deal with many major brands on a weekly basis. And from what we've seen over the many years of riders coming and going, even really talented riders, is the reason they never seem to quite crack getting sponsored or going pro is they never really put a good strategy in place to get there. So this video is a how-to and moving forward in the scooting industry. So first I want to just run through what I believe a sponsorship is for a rider. So sponsorships are where a brand, a shop, even just an individual person chooses a rider to support in their progression in the sport of scooter riding. This can either be via parts, financially, they can pay for your entries into comps, they can pay for travel and lodgings to go and film and ride, but generally there's a monetary value to help that ease that pressure so you can actually ride more often and progress further in the sport. Sponsorships should always be there for the progression of the rider. The reason brands take so long to actually sponsor people is because, first of all, they're attaching you to their image. So they want to make sure that the person they choose really fits their brand and is only going to represent their brand in the great light. Second of all, for most brands, it's a huge financial uptaking, properly sponsoring a rider. And they want to see that they're going to get a return. If they put investment into this rider, they want to see that this rider is influencing kids to come back to their brand. So whenever you see that a rider's made it, and why I say it's been such a long journey is because it really takes a long time for a brand to sort of nut down and pick a person that they want to affiliate themselves with. So that's something to keep in mind as we move forward. So now that I explain like a sponsorship, like it's really there to support you, a lot of people get confused. So the second thing I'm going to sort of put out here is ambassadorships. Okay, so an ambassadorship is not a sponsorship. Okay, while it can still be very helpful for your career and developing into a sponsored rider, it's not sponsorship. So usually an ambassadorship is where a rider and a business or a brand will come together and they will promote each other. Usually the rider will get free gifts for helping influence riders to move to a brand, but a brand will not actually physically support this rider in progressing. They're just using their influence to help grow their brand. As I said, still very good in your first few stages of building yourself up, but it is definitely not a sponsorship. And some brands out there even play on this and call riders sponsored, even though it is really just at best it's an ambassadorship. So something to really look out for in our sport. So now that you have a better understanding of what a true sponsorship is, I'm going to run through the 4 key steps I believe to being a sponsored rider. So if you follow these 4 steps religiously, I reckon for even just 12 months, you'll at least have one decent sponsorship under your belt. If not, you'll be on the radar of a lot of brands who would want to sponsor you. So let's start with the first and most important step, and this is where a lot of young riders get it wrong. The first and most important step of your journey towards a sponsorship is networking. This is joining up with other riders, especially riders who might be a little bit better than you, to help push and progress you, and making sure you've got a good, positive riding environment around you. This is key, okay, guys? It will really help you having these guys around you. A part of this network, you should always go and visit your local scooter shop. Always offer up your time for free for those guys. Just remembering that your local scooter shop is also a direct link to brands. Sometimes all it takes is a word for a brand to notice you, and usually it's going to come from a shop owner who notices that you're jumping into the community and helping you out. Also, if you've got them around your local area, jump into any associations. So you might have a scooter association, a YMCA or a PCYC. Do the same thing, jump in with those guys, help run some comps. Be the guy that in your area that when someone says, hey, what about scooting? They think of your name. This will definitely help you get your foot in the door for most brands, being a part of a community first. And a part of that network, and probably the most important thing, and really this is actually your first sponsor, is your parents or guardian or family, guys. These are the people who are going to drop you off to the skate parks. They're going to buy your parts. They're going to support you all the way through most of the time. I do know riders who's, like fantastic mums have done 80% of the legwork getting them sponsored. So, always trust that your family's going to, so there's got to be someone there who's going to back you up. Might be an older brother or something like that. But yeah, if you've got that network, just use it. But this is the most key thing, is build a network up that's going to support you in your career before you get sponsored. And that will help later on. All right, so step 2. And if you probably guessed, this one is your riding. Okay, so what we're going to sort of do is style, ability, and age in this category. All right, guys. So step 2, we're going to choose. So we're going to run through a couple of the styles. Okay. Now this one is one that I want a lot of people to pay attention to with style, because a lot of people have it backwards. So when I categorize riders and I go out to parks or my indoor park, I would categorize it like this. About 60% of the riders are a park style riding for single Instagram clips. 30% of the guys are riding a street style, the big decks and the T-bars. And then probably about the last 10% of the riders are park style comp riders. Okay. Now, just to point it out, that when a brand or a sponsor is looking for a rider, about 60% of the brands are looking for comp riders, and 30% of the brands are looking for street riders, and the last 10%, maybe if they're looking for an affiliation, are looking for single Instagram clip riders. So a lot of you are doing it backwards. You need to switch it around, and you need to, if you're looking for a sponsorship, pick either a comp riding style, which a lot more brands are looking for, or if you're really in the street, you have a better chance of being a street rider than you do a single Instagram clip park rider. So that's one thing. You need to pick a style. Once you've picked a style, work on it. Develop your own sort of techniques and landing tricks. Some of the best riders out there, or even not so much best riders, have sponsorships literally because they ride to their style. And once you've developed it, you just got to work on it and make it your own. Once you've done all that and you've figured out your style and you've figured out, don't be upset if you haven't been sponsored by the age of 10. Okay, just because some riders manage to get sponsored by the age of 10, a lot of them do burn out quite early before they've reached their mid-teens. As a point out, most professional riders don't start earning an income or any sort of value from their career riding until mid-20s. So you have a long time to develop your skill, develop your talent. So just because you think you're 14 and washed up, you've got years to go before you actually can reach a level where you can say you're a professional rider. So keep working at it. 16, 17, keep working at it. You never know what's going to happen and who's watching you. All right, so now we've gone through step 1 and 2. So build your network, develop your style. Okay, step 3. Okay, now this is critical. You can't do the first 2 and miss it and then just stop there. All right, step 3 is building you as a brand. Okay, this is a crucial key. Okay, so once you've developed your rider, you're pretty well known within your network and community. You need to develop your brand, and you guys have some of the coolest tools out there to do that. Stuff that they didn't have back in the 90s and the 80s. Okay, guys, you have TikTok, you have YouTube, and obviously the big one, you have Instagram. Okay, and what I mean by building a brand is make sure if you choose one of these, you are running it absolutely 100% the best you can. Okay, don't just throw up a clip and say, yeah, I was happy with this. Okay, you really need to build those platforms as your launch pads. Just as a little bit of a guidance with these stuff, TikTok will get you lots of views, but pretty much net you no brands. The brands aren't watching TikTok. People are, but not the brands. Okay, if you're a street rider, you probably want to be on Instagram to do your B-roll stuff. But a lot of the guys who watch the street riding style are a bit old school and they really like the long YouTube edits. So you should be working on a YouTube edit every sort of 3 months while doing your B-roll on your Instagram to build up the hype. Okay, and if you're a park comp rider, it is all about running that Instagram, guys. That is where almost all brands are watching. That's how they know that the kid out in the back of the boonies is a good rider, because they're on Instagram, they're searching for it, they're waiting for the tags, they're looking for the clips, and then they're showing up to the comps. And if you're performing in the comps, they're going, I've seen this guy ride, he's dominating the comp, I want him to be a part of my brand. So if you're a comp park rider, definitely get that Instagram running well. If you're a street rider, you've got to kind of dance between that and Instagram. And then if you're more of a one trick or a big trick pony, the TikTok can be great, because it will put you out to lots and lots of people. So you've got to build that brand. Now, with those things, I could go much more into depth. If you want us to, especially the Instagram one, I'm happy to do another story video directly related to just Instagram, because I think that's such a big subject and so many guys get it wrong, as that is your resume to brands. Okay, just asking them for a sponsorship is not going to work. You need to put out there what you are and how you ride. So yeah, step 3 is definitely building your brand and using those tools you've got available to you to get yourself out there. So now we're down to the 4th and final step. So we've done step 1, the most crucial one, which is your networking. Step 2, developing your rider talent and style. Step 3, building yourself as a brand. Step 4, which shouldn't come as a surprise, is it is hard. Easy is not an option, okay? You are going to have to put on the grind every day, okay? Even when you don't feel like it, even when you don't feel like writing that post properly, you've got to do all those hashtags, okay, guys? You've got to get in, you've got to put the work in, you've got to get down to your local park, you've got to run those comps for the associations, you've got to jump into your local scoot shop and introduce yourself to the owners. You've got to do the hard yards, guys. I've seen so many riders that for 9 months, they will push, they'll do everything right, they'll progress, everybody will be blown away about how good they've gotten, and they'll give up just because they don't think they've made it. They could have been 1 week away, guys, 1 day away from a brand going, Jesus, in 9 months, imagine what he could do in 9 years, okay? Think of this as long term. You have to put in to get the result, guys. Can't stress that enough. If you follow 1, 2, 3, 4, it will happen for you. No, there is no way it cannot happen for you, okay? Just got to put in the work, guys. So there you have it, guys. Big Steezy's 4 tips to becoming a sponsored rider. Build your network. Absolute number 1. Number 2, develop your riding style and talent in the proper areas, okay, of developing your rider talent. 3, build up your own brand image out there so people know you exist. No use being the best rider in the back of whoop that nobody knows about. And 4, keep on the grind. Like I said, you could be just a short amount of time from somebody picking up your talent. Okay, guys, it can happen. It will happen if you follow these 4 steps. On the other side of this is for people who want to be sponsored riders. Not everybody wants to be sponsored. Some people just love riding to chill with their mates, have fun, good exercise. No problem with that either. I'm 35, still get out with the boys, go for a ride. It's absolutely awesome sport, and I love to keep doing it. So remember, this is the steps to follow for a sponsored rider. Otherwise, you can find your own path in life, but this is what I found is what brands are looking for. I want to thank you all guys for watching. And like I said, if you want us to do a more in-depth on Instagram and how to run your Instagram properly, comment down below and make sure you subscribe to our channel for more YouTube content from Gas Grip. Big Steezy out. You.
I'm walking around in the circle of life, doing the things I know, walking the same ways 100 times with the same soul. But do you ever try path on the right side? Put it up in your mind.